Our next guest on the pod is a local New England legend who has raised over $100,000 while running the World for Wishes, fundraising for Make-A-Wish, who help grant life-changing wishes for local children with critical illnesses. He's only a few weeks after the Great World Race, and he's been pondering lately what's next, World Majors, an Ironman, an ultramarathon. Maybe by the end of this, we can convince him to do it all. But first, we want to hear all about the Great World Race. Bill Murphy, welcome to the On the Runs podcast. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how are you? So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being patient as I struggled through that intro. But yeah, dude.
We only hear the A take, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Basically.
That's right. Editing is a skill.
But Bill, I hope you've rested up and are ready to tell us some fun stories, because we are so interested in the Great World Race. I think that is just the coolest thing that you took that on, completed it, and are here to talk about it. So how you doing?
I'm great, thank you. You know what's funny about rested up? I think you guys were sharing some of my Garmin messages, not so positive
stuff.
You have negative battery.
I didn't know Garmin could be that
battery.
How they could be so negative. I actually told my Garmin to shut the F up one time during that Great World Race. But funny thing is like, so you monitor, like do the Oura Ring, do the Garmin, do all this other stuff, right? Just monitor your sleep, just see how everything's going. Since I've been back, my heart rate is like, normally I can keep it in the mid 40s, right? And my heart rate's been in the 60s, maybe high 50s. I have not been, since we've been back, I don't know, it'll be 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks, right? And my heart rate has still not gone down. And I was just thinking about this. I was talking to a couple of racers, and I'm really curious where their heart rates are. But like, I feel good. But for the first week back, getting up in the middle of the night and just a couple of times I got up at 2 a.m. and started running on my treadmill. I'm only kidding. I ended up getting up, but not running on the treadmill. That was the last thing I wanted to do. But what the point is we were traveling all around the world, right? Literally all around the world.
Yes.
And so East Coast time, when I look at the times we were starting at 1 a.m, 6 a.m, 1 p.m, 7 p.m.
All over the place.
Like all these things. So like we were so jet lagged, we didn't know really where we were or what time it was really, other than local time, because you didn't really pay attention. Other than I knew I needed to get the Twitch real time out there to the people back in the States. And so I was like, really? It's 1 a.m. there? That means I should be sleeping, and I'm really freaking tired. And so like none of that hit me, other than we were super tired the whole time because we weren't sleeping. But when we got back, like the body clock is still out of sorts. And that's a real thing. So like, you know, I wasn't really sure about jet lag, but like when your body clock is off, like when do your circadian rhythm get back into check? So now I'm talking to doctors and everything. They're like, it could take you a week. It could take you 3 weeks. It could take you 5 weeks. It could take you years. You know, I don't know.
Oh, we'll God, see. I hope it's not years.
I feel good. I feel good.
Oh,
That's
Bill.
wild, though. You mentioned you've been like asking some of the other runners, like, are they having the same symptoms? So you're still in touch a couple weeks later. You're still bouncing off each other, texting and all that.
Oh, yeah. We're having some fun. Yeah.
It seemed like
they made friends that they're family now. Like you go through something like that with someone or with anyone, and yeah, you guys are in it.
As a civilian, not to be military in the foxhole, but it felt like these civilians were in the foxhole with you because they saw your darkest, time. You went through some dark times together. You went through some happy times together, and you spent more time in the air than you did on the ground, pretty much.
That is
crazy.
True.
And it was only 7 days, and now you're a family forever. It's like I hear like when we're local, we're in New Hampshire, you're in Massachusetts, so we're all Boston fans, and I'm a big Bruins fan. They say like when the 2011 Bruins won the Stanley Cup, they're family forever. They went through all that. Now that was a 10-month grind, and you guys went through a 7-day grind, but you went through all that together, and you all won, and you're a family now. That's what it basically is.
Bonding, for real.
It was incredible bonding.
So, Bill, we're so happy to have you, but we really don't know too much about you besides what was shared on the live stream. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to get into this amazing race?
Yeah, I fell into running as a, bunch of buddies sitting around having some beers, talking about doing the Boston Marathon one year. And we'll do it. We'll do the marathon. And next thing you know,
we're big fans of the Boston Marathon. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Right. It's iconic. And this was in 2007. And so then I think I was the only one that followed through, and then I realized that, oh, you actually have to qualify for this thing. I haven't ran in over 10 miles in my life, so that was in. This was like a night. I think it was like a Christmas Eve, a get together, and then Boston Marathon's in April. So I realized that you have to run for charity, and I committed to Dana-Farber, but it was like the hardest interview of any job I've ever went to get accepted with Dana-Farber. Like it was a long process, and I started running and training, not knowing what the heck I was doing, trying in hopes that I could get accepted. And so I didn't get accepted. I think it was the end of January when I finally got accepted, but I was training, and that's how I got into the Boston Marathon. It was 2007, right? And then I had to raise this money, and I did it, and I was one and done. And then I did it the next year. I hated running. I'm not really a great runner. I'm not really, I just never was. I never, I like, just, fast twitch stuff is, a lift and sprint and, football and, all that stuff that martial arts, things of that nature. But running, what happened was I noticed that the most amazing, high was coming. I know the runner's high is a thing, right? But the endorphins, the adrenaline, the solutions to problems started to come to me on my long runs, and I was like,
okay,
this is a freaking thing. And I started journaling. I started journaling my thoughts, and like things would just come to me, and just a lot of breakthroughs in life from this running thing. And I was like, now I notice it on my long bikes, even my swims, like hikes, whatever. Like, I get my ideas from these endurance challenges.
Excellent. Moments of clarity. That's definitely, I get some of those. I tend not to write them down though. And then I'm like, what was I thinking about? So you're better off with your journaling, and that's awesome that all that comes to you.
Yeah.
So where did you go from Boston? You said you did another one. You said you were one and done, but then
I did.
Of course, they're kind of contagious. Like
I did another one, and then I was, then I got hurt, and then the following year I didn't do another one, and then I sporadically did a couple. Then I was like 10 years without doing one. Then I did one in 2019, and that was a year like I was like, I did it 7 or 8 years ago, and so I was like, nutrition, whatever. Just I'll drink some Gatorade, I'll drink some water along the way. Fueling, whatever. And It was just a miserable April day, a typical New England day. I think it was raining, snowing, and I think I got a sunburn. All in that marathon, all on that marathon Monday. But I was like really upset with myself because I was cramping. I didn't feel right and feel right. The gut was a mess, like everything. And I was really upset. And then I was just thinking, I was like, I'm struggling here at mile 15, and I'm thinking like, how did people do Ironmans? Like they swim 2.4 miles, they bike 112 miles, and then they do a marathon on top. Are you kidding me? Like that's superhuman.
Hell yeah, baby.
So I started. There you go. So I started. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finish this freaking marathon if it kills me, and then I'm gonna do an Ironman, and I'm gonna do it this year in 2019. And I haven't swam in 30 years and didn't have a bike, so those were minor details that I had to figure out after I did it. So I finished that marathon, and then I started just researching what it would take to do an Ironman and looking up certain Ironmans and trying to find coaches and forums. And everybody's like, you need a year, you need 2 years to train, you need all this stuff. And I was like, found a coach that would help me train in 6 months, and we did it. But when I got in the pool, incredible anxiety just overtook me, and I got out of the pool, I jumped out, and I was like, I can't freaking do this. I can't even swim 2 laps without fearful that I was going to drown in a 3-foot pool. And so, but here's the thing that saved me from continuing on with that quest was, you know what? I told my kids that I was going to do this. And I declared it to them, if I'm going to be their role model and their example of pushing through, because I coached them in all their sports. And I always said, I don't care if you don't like the sport this season, but next season, you don't have to play, but you have to finish it this year. So whatever you sign up for, whatever you commit to, you need to do. So like, I was like, all right, I need a break. I need to keep doing this swimming thing and figure this out. And then I go and get my bike, and I tell them I'm doing an Ironman, and I'm going to, like, yeah, buddy. Okay. You didn't even know you needed to get fitted. Cause I was like, hey, I'll just take this bike and off the rack and I'll buy it. And they're like, no, you're going to get fitted. And then they put these things that you clip in, right, on these pedals, and they say, go go around the parking lot. Well, if you've never done that before and you come back to them to stop, guess what happens? You fall over.
Yeah.
You can't unclip. I was like, I can't do it. Iron Man, huh? And so, just trained, worked hard. A lot of moments where I wanted to quit, and just stuck with it, and finished my Ironman in 6 months, and like then endurance stuff is just.
What Ironman did you do?
Panama City, Florida.
Oh, okay. You 2019, right?
Yeah.
I did Mont Tremblant in 2019. I was thinking, maybe we did the same race.
Nice.
That's pretty incredible, though. So you gave yourself a task, you did not quit, and that just shows what kind of perseverance you have, and you definitely carried it on into the Great World Race. That's for damn sure.
Great World Race happened. Yeah. I still felt unworthy to do that one too.
Well, Bill, let me tell you something. I related to two of the things you just shared. One, the swimming. I could barely do a full lap in the pool, and I was like, no way am I doing a sprint triathlon. And I kept saying that to myself. No way can I then do an Olympic or a half or a full. Eventually figured it out. Biking, the first time I had the clip-in pedals on a mountain bike, I endoed over my handlebars and couldn't get my feet out. And this was in high school, maybe middle school, but I remember it very well. And I had the same experience. Just I was much younger, and I figured it out. And now I feel like I always land on my feet, knock on wood. But hey, before we get to the Great World Race, we noticed during your training, though, you were at Anchor Down.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of my absolute favorite races.
So well run. Jason, right? He just is an amazing guy, amazing dude. He keeps it small. He could blow that thing up. Yeah. He could blow that thing up. And he just wants to keep it like the hidden gem. And it's an amazing race. And I was just impressed with everybody. Tough one, real tough.
How did you learn about ADU?
I knew so I had to qualify for it with one of their three, I believe, and it was the Sun Up, Sundown in Rhode Island. It was a 12-hour race or something like that. 6 to 6. Sun Up, Sundown. Is that 12 hours? Sure. And so I wanted to do that just for the sake of doing it. But once I knew I was doing the Great World Race, I was a definite that I wanted to do that. It was and I can't say a warm up because that was a freaking task in itself. It was
just a training run.
Yeah, no.
That was a very intense training run, especially last year with the weather. And it's always on the hottest weekend of August. So he's going to make it difficult for you. But
yeah, it was
hurricane. There was a hurricane. So
there was they had tornado warnings. They gave us the whole tornado sign. You hear the sirens and you need to get off and all those stuff.
Crazy, right?
That was about when I was hallucinating.
Sounds about right. Those 24-hour races really get you.
Yeah.
But
I did my best to clear the trail for you a couple days before. The rain and the hurricane, I guess, ruined all my hard work, but I did my best, man.
We went and we volunteered and did some
that back trail. Those are so I guess this past year was the they had more dropouts than ever because of when it started raining. People were tripping on those roots and the rocks on that back trail. That was tough. Like I jammed my ankle myself, and I saw a lot of people go down. It was rough because what was happening is the rain came down so fast that even if you had headlamps on, you could not see where you were stepping, and you would just take a chance. It was a rock or a root or whatever. You're going down some way somehow. So it was so many people that went down.
Definitely tricky.
Did you have a film crew there?
Yeah, I did.
So are they like documenting your entire journey here to the Great World Race?
They were documenting that. Yeah, we're doing it for Make-A-Wish. Yeah.
Oh, very
That's
cool.
awesome. Can't wait to hear more about that.
Bringing some awareness to Make-A-Wish. Yeah.
So before we get into it, I just want to know what planted that seed to make you want to do the Great World Race. Was it just for fundraising for Make-A-Wish, or did that come into play after you already signed up?
That's a great question. I get asked that a lot. So last year, I'm in the mortgage business and real estate, and last year was probably the worst year I ever had, right? But I've always been so busy, super, super, super busy, just like, sun up, sun down, working pretty much. And it's like I didn't do a lot of relational things with my family that I did last year. So last year I decided, I said, you know what, I need to do some more spiritual things, and I need to do some more family things. And so I took my sister to a Joe Dispenza spiritual retreat on meditation, and I took my son to Wim Hof in Poland, and we climbed Mount Śnieżka with basically no clothes on, and the breathing and all this other stuff. And I did some martial arts with the Shaolin monks. Took my mom to Florida for some holistic treatment, and like all these conferences, all these spirituality things that I was running into. The message that kept coming to me was like the spiritual awakening was like change the world, change the world, change the world, change the world. And I think they all said it, right? Wim Hof, Joe Dispenza, the Shaolin monk. They were saying change the world. And I was like, okay, we can change the world, but if we're the same person and we don't change within, we don't change our own world first, then how are we going to do this? But while this is happening, I remember being in Poland, and I had spotty internet, and I showed my son that this great world race was coming across my feed, and I said, Kim, what do you think about this? He's like, Dad, that's crazy, man. Do you think you can do that? And I was like, I don't know. I feel nudged. And so that whole change the world, change within thing was coming to me. So I remember calling the race director, and I was like, am I worthy? I've done a couple ultras. I've done a couple marathons. I've done some Ironmans. Like, am I okay to do this? And he's like, do you have the right mindset? You train hard, put the work in. And I was like, I'm coachable. I'll do everything. And, my coach took care of me, and I relied on their plan, and it was mindset. It's mindset. It's totally mental, and like, I mean, if you've ever done a marathon, I mean, you can mentally get there.
Mm-hmm. It is a
was
struggle.
Was your coach the same guy, the race director? And then how did Make-A-Wish come involved?
So I've been involved with Make-A-Wish since 2006. It's part of my mortgage business, and when we close a loan, we give back, and we've done that since 2006.
That's great.
Yeah, on behalf of our clients. But so the story there was, it's like, okay, have some success, like what can we do to make a difference? And so like I tried to tap into that. I didn't understand giving back a lot. I wasn't raised that way necessarily, to give of yourself, give monetarily, whatever. And so I wanted to figure that out. And then just partnered with Make-A-Wish. What really resonated with me being Boston, right? So it was, all the Make-A-Wish, all the wish stories with the kids meeting Tom Brady and Teddy Bruschi and David Ortiz and Patrice Bergeron, I believe, was a big wish guy, your guy. And, a lot of these people would give these wishes, and it was just amazing to watch on ESPN. That was a big thing. And then, I went to a lot of conferences. Some conferences, there was a Make-A-Wish booth there, and then I took my kids to Disney a couple years later, and I remember them being complaining because of the heat. They were real young and little, and then I saw these wish families in tie-dye shirts and smiling from ear to ear, and they're in walkers and they're in wheelchairs, and there's like not a care in the world, and they're just all so happy, and the memories that are going to last them a lifetime, and just the hope they have. These kids with critical illnesses are battling, and you wouldn't know it. And I was just like, this is what it's about. This was amazing. And so we've stuck with Make-A-Wish all these years, and done all kinds of fun. We partnered with our own clients, and did client appreciation nights in support of Make-A-Wish, and did a lot of fun things. And then so when I said we're doing this great world race, but in order for me to complete it the way I want to complete it, I need to do it for the greater good, because I don't care about doing 7 marathons, 7 days in 7 continents. Yeah, it's cool and real fun. I get to be on great podcasts like yours. But like, if I'm not doing it for something beyond myself, I'm probably not going to do it in all seriousness. I'm not. But to know that we can raise money and make a little dent in some of the pipeline of the wish kids that are waiting, that's gonna make a difference. So that was incredibly motivating.
That's amazing.
Well, I think that $100,000 is more than a little dent.
112,
I think
actually.
That's 112. That is an incredible number, and just the good that you're doing with that, it's remarkable. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Well, what's really cool. Let's talk about this motivation thing, right? Because
yes.
Race 3, I checked the donations, and I was like, we just hit our $50,000 goal. I'm like I got, and as tired as we were sleep deprived. Like, I don't think anybody got over 3 hours on average sleep, right?
Oh,
on this
wow.
great world race.
That takes a toll on you.
We got 45 minutes, and that's really the truth. Garmin doesn't lie. But what I realized at Marathon 3, I was like, let's double this. And I knew some funds were coming in that didn't hit yet, and I was like, let's double this. And I even said it on the live feed. I said, let's double this. And then it was so cool. And Ben's like, dude, more money's coming in. It's great. And he's going off. And it's like, this is, you want to talk about having like floating during these marathons when you don't have any energy and you are sleep deprived, like it carries you through. And I was just like, it carried me to the next race and the next race. And it was just like, this is so freaking cool what's happening here and how people are rallying. And a lot of people said, I didn't know what you were doing, but I watched you and like, I knew you were doing it for Make-A-Wish. It's like, this was so cool. I had no problem to give. So then people that were giving initially started giving 2 and 3 times after that again. That was amazing to see names pop up 2 and 3 times. Substantial amounts. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, it does. Just having something bigger than yourself, it does give you that extra motivation. So I'm so happy that could do that for you to help get you through all 7 of those races.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like your listeners, right? If they're doing something, or people that are starting to listen now and they've never done a marathon, they've done a half marathon, they've never done an Ironman, they've done a half Ironman, but they're not sure if they're good enough. If they can just attach it to other things, if they can declare it and share it and get permission from their loved ones because of all the training they're going to be needing to do. Like I've made the mistake of not asking and just saying I'm doing it, and then guess what? It all falls apart because you know what? How can you get up at 3 a.m. and then you don't come back home till 1 p.m. and like all this other stuff? Like
Right.
or I'm not going out for a dinner night because I need to train in the morning or what. Like so, I think that it's very important, from our family, our loved ones, our significant others, that we get permission when we set out to do these big things. It makes all the difference in the world because then they can rally behind you. As opposed to just saying I'm doing it and then you might butt,
Absolutely.
You're asking for a lot of sacrifices from everybody.
All right, well, let's get to it then, man. We were so into this Great World Race. The live stream was so amazing. I think that's what made this race like so much fun for us watching back at home, where in years past I don't think they had that stuff. So tell us about your whole experience. One thing we like to say on this podcast is spare no details. And we're not just talking code browns and hard times, but we're talking like the trip out there, the lack of sleep, meeting everybody.
Memorable moments.
Let's start from the beginning. When did you arrive to Cape Town?
A couple of days early, and was enjoying it. I ran the coast. It was beautiful. We actually I met some of the other runners on a run, and then we all got together and we went an hour away and looked at penguins, which was pretty cool. And who thought penguins would be in Africa, right?
I love that.
South Africa. So it was very cool. And then we had our briefing, and our briefing was 2 days before the Antarctica trip. So during the briefing, casually, few moments in, we see a screen come up, and it's about cloud cover and the runway's ice and landing the plane, and there's no equipment to guide them in, with a storm or anything else. So, hey, by the way, there's a storm coming in. You're leaving tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Pack your bags and be ready to go. Instead of 2 days later, like, all right,
Surprise.
because the cloud
Ready
cover
or
is
not.
coming in, and we have our opportunity, our literal window, and it showed they show the 2 clouds with a little window, and
Oh, no
that
way.
was our 8 hours. And as a matter of fact, we ended up leaving early Antarctica because I guess the cloud cover was coming faster than the pilots were comfortable with, and we left, and they pulled people off the race. They got the
really?
snowmobiles and drove around. But I will tell you, Antarctica was the most beautiful, picturesque thing that you could ever imagine on Earth, I think. And it was just the beauty. It was pristine. It was whole. Like they said, if you drop a wrapper, I don't care if it's wind blown, you go grab that wrapper. Like you cannot leave Antarctica with everything that you bring in, you have to take out. And that is the pee and the poop buckets too. Like you got to bring everything back. So, they even drained our water off the plane, which kind of stunk on the 6-hour flight way back.
Oh,
But because it was getting cold. So everyone says, what was the temperature? So I guess the temperature was 5 degrees when we got there, and it was minus 5 to 10 in the wind chill, which like running in the sun, you felt warm, and running in the wind chill, you freaking felt cold. And
no.
you felt that wind chill. And I will say, like, they warned us, be careful of the glare. Sunglasses were mandatory, goggles were mandatory, whatever. And then good sunblock and lips and all sorts of stuff. I burnt my cheeks and my lips like blistered my lips pretty bad.
Really?
Even though I put zinc on and all this other stuff, I burnt pretty good from the glare or whatever, the sun out there. But it was amazing, iconic, beautiful, and we left early. We came back on a 6-hour flight, and I think we landed around 4 o'clock in the morning, and we had to start at 7. But here's the thing: all our stuff was back in Cape Town hotel where we had to pack up. So like, do I pack or do I sleep? Do I eat or do I get a few extra Z's in? Like,
man,
those real dilemmas happened. And I think, myself included, everyone chose a little bit of extra sleep. So speaking of Garmin, having fun with Garmin told me I got 45 minutes of sleep that night. They called it a nap. Like, whoa, let's go.
Garmin has the audacity. It really does.
It might have been Aura that said nap. I don't know. Garmin probably didn't even recognize it. But so what I will say is this is really a life lesson. This is one of the life lessons that I got there. Was we all get in the lobby, and I'm like, everyone's happy and enthusiastic and ready to go, and I'm like, where the hell is this energy coming from? Like, this is amazing. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, everyone's like, were well rested. Like, they didn't do a marathon 6 hours earlier, and everybody's well fed and all this. None of that. But the energy was contagious, and it got me thinking, like, like how, you have positive people, like your positive herd, right? That can lift you up and bring you to where you want to go. Or you have the Debbie Downers, the doom and gloomers, standing around that water cooler talk, bringing you down when you should be attracted to the positive flock that will bring you up, right? And so, like, this group of people were so amazing, and I just felt like I actually had my best race time in Cape Town after that first marathon in 45 minutes of sleep, if you call it. And I think it had to do with the energy of the people.
That's amazing, because everybody's in the same boat as you probably. Although, how do you prioritize sleep over food, over packing? Like, the time crunch must have been just crazy, and I don't know how I would have prioritized.
Stress too, because like, packing. Like, I left chargers there. I left my shaker, my shaker for my protein drinks that I needed to have quick in the morning. Right. I left the shaker in the sink. I left all kinds of shit. So I just. I left. I'm running down the street with my bags, probably looking crazy. But I was swearing at myself because I knew I forgot a bunch of stuff, and I was like, "Do I go back?" And it's like, no, just go run this marathon because that's really what I want to do.
Yep.
How did you pack for this? Like, you had 7 marathons in 7 days, but one day you're in Antarctica and it's 5 degrees. The next day you're in Cape Town, it's like 95 degrees. How did you like pack something for each day?
Yeah,
like, we're talking shoes too, or how do you plan all that?
Yeah, so I only brought 2 running shoes. I brought some slides just to be comfortable in, but I brought 2 pairs of running shoes. Some people brought hiking shoes, trail shoes for Antarctica. The more that I talked to people, the more that I didn't think you needed it. However, what it felt like on Antarctica was, if you ever run with sneakers on a beach, it felt like that because it was give. There was a lot of give. It felt like sand.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of give, and that was a little, and it's slick. So there's a little ice. So I don't think anyone really slipped too badly, but you were cautious. But it was like running, because there was a lot of give on your run, so you had to be careful.
So
especially it being the first race too, right? Like, you don't want to blow it in the first race, and then the rest of it's downhill. But so I would have been cautious too. But man, that I'm really kind of surprised that that's what it felt like, because it would have just what it looked like to us was just a sheet of ice, basically, just white.
There were sheets of ice, but so they plow it, right? So there's snow, and so you got about that much, and if you step off, you're gonna go ass over tea kettle. I mean, you're gonna go down, because it is actually probably the slipperiest ice that you ever.
I believe that, yeah.
Because I touched it, but with my foot, and I was like, whoa! It was like crazy. It was like, you're ready to go. It almost looks like a frozen ocean, even though it's land. It was just crazy. We're 4,000 feet above sea level, so some people had some altitude. Wow. They felt the altitude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think
I didn't know that, but some people were we're feeling it.
Wow.
You know what's weird to me about just thinking about it? We're here in New England, right?
Yeah.
Everyone running in Antarctica is upside down. To me, they're upside down.
That's another new one I haven't heard, but that's good. Yeah.
Thank you,
But-
gravity.
But anyways,
I'm
you
glad I
had
wasn't
it.
thinking about that.
Okay, so you had a cool experience in Antarctica, and then you had your best marathon time in Cape Town.
Yeah.
After Cape Town, it's like hustle up, get ready, get on that airplane, and now you're in your home for the next couple of nights.
No, we're going to Australia.
Well, yeah, the airplane's your home for the next couple of nights, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, 15 hours. We had 15 hours on that plane. So I was curled I was curled up in the fetal position with the chills and I couldn't eat. And it was just like, I think my immunity was shot. Like everything was going. So like a lot of things were coming into my head. I was like, how am I going to do this? How can I do this? How can I do this? How can I do this? And it's like, I was like really not feeling good. And then I started changing. I was like, you know what? I got to change my mindset here. It's not about the how to, it's the why to. The why to is actually my purpose is running this for Make-A-Wish. You know, I said I'm going to do this. I'm going to complete this if I have to crawl, you know, whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. So like the how to has to, when we get stuck on how to's, that's when we weaken our why. And a lot of times we're not able to complete things, and we'll give an excuse, be like, it wasn't worth it anyways. You know, I was way over my head, you know, whatever. But then you have to live with that regret. So it's just like, okay, let's abandon this how-to thing. Let's just say, you know what? Let's go to the purpose. Let's go to the meaning. Let's go to something that matters, that's going to carry us through. So that Perth, Australia, as beautiful as it was, and as nice as everybody was there, like I struggled in that one. Lots of I couldn't eat anything. The second I took a gel, I ran faster to the bathroom than I did on the course. You know, it was not pleasant, and you know, I battled all night long. So that could have been a beautiful one. It was really a gorgeous sight and scene, but it was hard. Finished that miserably, and then we went to Istanbul, where we actually changed continents. We were supposed to go to Istanbul, Asia first, then Istanbul, Europe. Went to the European side first, then Asia the next day. But that one, what was really hard about this, like, picture this, like everything that you planned for and you trained for, nothing went according to plan. Nothing. Like nutrition, sleep, your routines. Forget about your routines. But what I realized that was happening is, if you train properly enough in anything, and your routines are set, are really strong, and you're doing the hard things during your routine, it's going to carry you through. Because I was worried about, like, my routine's off. Like, oh my God, I'm not going to recover. Like, but no, your subconscious knows, like, it has to take you through because you're so well prepared. And that's what happened. So we get to Istanbul, and like, it was dark, rainy. I think it was maybe high 40s, low 50s. I was in a t-shirt. I had to switch to a jacket. And the course was along the water. There was thousands of European fishermen along the water. And I swear you, the prerequisite to fish and be along the water was you had to be a chain smoker. And so we're running in this little area, and they cast their poles blindly. They don't care if there's a runner behind them or anyone.
No.
And so, like, they're casting their fishing poles. You're dodging fishing poles. You're yeah, right. That would have been great. And then you're watching out. It's dark. There's ledges, there's stairs, there's ramps. That was a tough one. And we had a 2.5 hour delay because the course wasn't marked correctly.
Oh no.
So picture this, you know, the 15 or whatever, that one was an 18-hour flight, like an hour and a half drive in a shuttle, and then a 2.5 hour wait at the start line, basically. Is how we got that.
So you guys had to be really good at adjusting on the fly because there were so many delays and that, and the other thing. And man,
I mean, you could choose to be miserable, and then what is that going to get? You're going to lose all that energy.
Exactly.
You already don't have any energy.
But that's a good mindset. Just try to think of the positive. That's the best you can do.
Yeah, and then so we got back to the hotel, and we're like, "This is great. We get a hotel in the middle of this." And it was like we get back to the hotel at 3:34 in the morning. And we're like, meet in the lobby at 7. And so this is what happened. We go to the hotel, and it's like everyone wants room service, right? And it's like I called, and I was like,
you need to sleep.
No, they don't. I was like, sleep, room service. And I was like, he's like, I'll be up in 10 minutes. And he's like, he never came. And it's just like, and I call
Oh.
and another 10 minutes. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to eat something. So I you know what I did? I took out of my bag that I had with me, I had a peanut butter packet. I had collagen creamer protein. And that was my dinner for the night. And then I had a roommate that I didn't know was coming, who had finished a race after me. And he comes in, 45
Making
minutes
noise.
later, and I was just like, okay, we're off to Europe. Let's go. But actually, really funny thing out of it, like a movie you would see, is there's all of us, mostly for some reason it's mostly guys in line off the bus, waiting, and this, how would I describe this? This incredibly beautiful movie-esque woman comes out of like nowhere, like almost like out of the wall, right? And like you couldn't have scripted this any better. And she just zigzags out in and out of everyone. She was a lady of the night apparently at 3:30 in the morning. What else is she doing there? And I was like, who? Like, so like you could hear a freaking pin drop in the hotel, and it's just like no one says a word. She exits, and we're like, we know what you all were thinking. And it's just like, way too tired. But anyway, I'm kidding. But it was just one of those crazy things. But it's just like this is like movie-esque, like craziness. Like, why would anyone do that to us? It's just like more stuff on top of more stuff. So it was food. It was food. Sleep again. What do we do? And I chose my creamer collagen peanut butter protein drink.
Eric, I would imagine that nutrition-wise, you both are the ultra marathon runners here. I'm not, but you would just maybe eat like you would at an ultra marathon. This is one really long ultra marathon.
I mean, you're right, but you won't. If you could get a grilled cheese or something, I would house that. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do. You got to get some calories in yourself, or else you're just gonna have more of a bad time. But
yeah,
oh, Bill,
do it when you can.
I really hope you're gonna tell me after this whole thing that you ate like 10 cheeseburgers or like just had some epic meal afterwards.
I think we did. The first thing I got when we finished the Miami race was because we're so sleep deprived. How stupid is this? But I got a espresso martini, and like all my friends were like, "What are you doing? That you're drinking choice?" I'm like, "Yes, I can't even keep my eyes open."
That's actually not a bad idea. Get a little caffeine and a little like celebration drink. There you go.
That was the first thing we had. So we finished. Then Europe was tough. That was really that was tough for me. Again, more GI stuff was happening. Man, so kind of funny story. You guys like funny stories, and at my expense, had to run to the bathroom again. But in Europe, Istanbul, Europe, you have to pay to use the bathroom.
Oh,
and
no.
I didn't have any American dollars or European dollars or anything on me, so I decided to jump the turnstile. And now all these people come out of nowhere yelling and screaming at me in a foreign language, and I'm like, I don't know what
you have to pay to go to the bathroom. What?
I don't know what you want me to do, but you're not stopping me. Yeah, there was a little bit of that.
What's the vibe between you and all the other runners? In fact, between everybody, like the staff there is tired, Ben is tired, everyone's tired, lack of sleep. What's the vibe and how you guys keeping everyone's motivation high?
It was positive, man. Like every time you ran by somebody, like it was a fist bump, like words of encouragement. It was awesome. Like these people were amazing. Like I don't know how they kept the energy, but it was like I was slower. I was much slower than everybody else, and so I was struggling. I finished back of the pack a lot of times, and what these people did to a lot of people even stayed at the finish line. Hung around the finish line to watch their peers cross, and they could have been showering, they could have been eating, they could have been doing some other things, but a lot of times they waited.
I love that.
That was so cool. That's
a camaraderie that you guys built together.
It was great.
Was there any runner or a few runners that you would always kind of be near because you're in the back of the pack with them and you would always be about the same pace?
Yeah.
Or was there anyone who like you just constantly saw? Like I know Bex and Ashley are killing it, right? But you and Justin are probably in the back just trying to get through and on your feet longer.
I hung out with a little bit. A couple of the runners that seem to keep the same pace. I got real close with them. a few runners, and got to know them and got to know a lot of their history, and it was great too, getting to know a lot of these people. It's just like, when we talk about like when we train for something, when you do something like this magnitude, their mindset was like quitting is not an option. So like what can we do instead when it seems like all odds are stacked against us? It's like we pivot. We don't quit. Like, what's the solution? There's always a solution to something before we give up. Now, there was some medical issues, and some people were forced to get off the course, and that happened, unfortunately, and it was kind of sad. But we, for the most part, it was, we're gonna crawl and get these 8 hours in as much as we possibly can.
Man, I don't know how you did it, but you guys are incredible. Question I do have, how was the crowd support from the locals? Like, were they okay with you guys taking up their paths, and were they cheering you on, or were they just kind of like not
Those
having
fishermen in Istanbul did not like us.
So the
You were
fishermen
in
are
the
not
way
the
of their
best.
lures going into the water.
So maybe not the fishermen, but did anybody else give you some encouragement as you went?
It was really cool. I mean, oh my God, I loved, well, Antarctica. I mean, it was just it was the people that were there, so that was great. And Cape Town was awesome. A lot of great people there.
Did it seem like the cities knew what was going on in advance, or was it kind of like, oh, something's happening here?
I knew there was like a marathon or some runners or whatever with numbers, but no one really knew until it. And then, it was funny to be like, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're running 7 marathons, 7 continents, 7 days. What?
Yeah.
It's not possible. Like, you get a lot of that stuff, and it's the same. It was the same reaction every time. Like, you get a double take, and like, that's not possible. You can't do that. And so that was pretty funny to get those kind of reactions. But I loved Australia. I wish I felt better in Australia because the volunteers were just so awesome, and everybody was so cool, mate. They were just great. And South America was a little tough. That was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and it took me 6 hours. That knocked a lot of people out. That knocked our world record holder for the first 5 marathons out. It was really sad. He was amazing too. But when we got off that plane, it was 6 a.m. We got off that plane, and it was like an inferno just hit you, like a backdraft. They wanted to blow you back. It was like the heat was so stifling and suffocating that you're like, training in New England heat or even Florida heat in the summer. I've done that a few times. Just like nothing has ever compared to it. Doing that heat, and it was. They said, I think the real feel was like at one point 110 with the humidity factor. I think it was 100 plus a 90% humidity factor gave you somewhere around that 110 number. I don't know how they figured it out, but someone said that. And it felt every bit of 110. I'd rather do my sauna cycling than I would do that marathon. And it was the hardest thing I ever did. And I think what saved me is, started dunking in the ice bucket, full hands and head and everything, and my hat every round I could. And I started thinking like, mile 5, like, how am I going to do this? That whole how-to started. And then you have to gamify it, right? So gamify it was like, get to the next aid station. There's 3 aid stations every, I think it was a 3-mile loop or along there. So every aid station was get to the next aid station and reward myself with a walk. So I was gamifying it. Like, reward is my water and my walk for 20 seconds. Reward, water, walk. That was kind of it. And that's like, that was the way to get through it when people were having trouble.
One thing I remember from watching the live stream was when Ben turned on the live stream and you guys landed in South America. He said it was like you were swimming through a pool of thick, hot, humid air. So
what do you think the Beeman score was for that?
Yeah, it was crazy. What was your initial reaction when you landed originally?
Oh, I was like, this is going to be hard. So one of my buddies saw, I don't know if he saw the live stream or he saw my post, because I was like, whoa. And he's like, Murph, I heard fear in your voice, when I saw that, when I heard your voice. And he's like, I said a prayer for you. I was like, oh man. I was like, it was that bad, huh? Because that was the truth. Because I was like, I was a little worried because I was like, I've done humidity and heat before, but nothing has ever compared to this. And it was worrisome. So then we get delayed. So we were supposed to start, I believe it was 8 or 9. and then we got delayed again. And now that heat index,
Oh, no.
the difference between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. there was like, it was probably 10 degrees plus.
And that was an incredibly sunny day, too. It was like,
yes,
it
was.
looked beautiful, but not for you guys.
Yeah, walking there, you had the guys that, I don't even know if they were cops or military or whatever. They were in the fatigues and their machine guns, and you were like, are they good, bad, or both in South America? So it's probably a little bit of everything, but they're there to protect us. They're maybe there to rob us or whatever. But I don't know. I'm kidding. Just having fun with it. Still, it was you kept your eyes open.
Yeah,
I had the same
absolutely.
experience in Mexico. I know.
We finished 6 hours, 6 hard hours. That was for sure. That's for sure.
One other observation I had about South America was, and I was following everyone's stories on Instagram, social media, the live stream. It seemed like after South America, you guys actually got to kind of hang out for a little bit. I saw some people went to dinner together. What did you do after the race before you went to Miami?
I went to dinner for a little bit in the lobby. Some people actually went swimming. Those were the early finishers. I got dinner and I actually went back up to my room and just laid down for 45 minutes. And then we got delayed. We had some people that went to the hospital for fluids and things. So we thought, we were told we were going to be delayed. So we were like, we'll just stay in our room. Well, apparently in South America at this nice hotel, and it was a nice hotel, they rent the rooms hourly pretty much. So we needed to get out of our room. So that was really fun. And it was like, what are the chances they pick our room? Ring, click, come on, man. Like everybody
can't catch a break.
These are already accounted for. So
did you always have the same roommate?
No, we had four guys.
Four guys in one room.
But like we weren't there to sleep. We were there just to shower and change.
Yeah.
But we were there till the race. We were there for the day until it's supposed to be like 6 o'clock.
Well, now we're off to Miami, and I think Miami was very special. It was special for a lot of people. We saw all the stories. It seemed like the crowd was amazing.
Oh, the crowd support was awesome down in Miami.
Yeah, but you had one amazing guest come down to see you in Miami, and I even think run with you. Why don't you tell us and introduce Bethany?
Yeah, Bethany and I have known each other for a few years. Really cool story there, and I'll let Bethany tell that later. But I've known Bethany through our Make-A-Wish connection for the last few years, and she's an amazing high school student. She's an ambassador for Make-A-Wish. She's making a difference. And she and her mom came down to, along with my family and my friends and supporters, but they came down to see the Miami portion of the 7th marathon on the 7th continent on the 7th day. So that was amazing. And, it was hot and humid in Miami, but it felt like it was an air-conditioned, beautiful office when we started running there after South America. And not only that, but the energy from the crowd. It was a beautiful day. And everyone was just like, again, we were floating on air with our family, friends, loved ones. And, I had the privilege of having Bethany and her mom there as well. It was so cool.
And we have the privilege of having Bethany on the podcast right now. Hi, Bethany. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Welcome.
Tell us a little bit before we get into Tell us a little bit before we get into the race. Bill mentioned you would tell the story about how the two of you met.
Yes. So I think I was in about 8th, and I am very good Make-A-Wish friends with Peggy, who works for Make-A-Wish, and she emailed me and my mom one day, and she was like, "Oh, hey, so we have a guy, Bill Murphy, who is running the Boston Marathon on crutches," and I was like, "Oh my goodness." So she asked if I wanted to go and support, share my story, and I immediately said yes. And I just absolutely loved the idea of being able to share my story and learn about his story too. I was immediately intrigued, and I just was absolutely very excited to meet Bill and learn what he does.
Are you comfortable sharing your story, Bethany? You're welcome to if you want to, but if you don't feel like you have to.
Of course. So basically I had chronic pancreatitis growing up as a kid. So I had a bunch of surgeries and procedures growing up, and then after a while, I eventually applied to have a Make-A-Wish. And honestly, I was about 8 years old when I had my Make-A-Wish, and my wish was to go to Disney World with my brothers and my parents, and it was absolutely amazing, really life-changing. Just the whole experience was just like a breath of fresh air is how I like to explain it, because after having all the worry and stress with medical appointments and procedures and surgeries, just not having to stress about anything and just having fun really is absolutely amazing.
That's wonderful. And then, so you ran with Bill in this marathon, but like, what else do you do activity wise? Are you a runner? Do you do sports? Are you in any school activities?
Yeah, so I definitely am not a runner. I definitely want to be, but I actually do dance and high school cheer. But after running with Bill, it definitely really inspired me to do some running of myself, and I am training, and I'm signing up for the Make-A-Wish 10K.
Nice.
Excellent.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I'm
for you.
really
When is
excited.
that? Do we know when that is?
I think it's in August, I believe.
Is it the Falmouth Road Race?
Yes, yeah, it is.
Oh, that's a beautiful. You guys ever done that?
I have not, but
Nope.
I've seen
It's
pictures,
gorgeous.
and
It's one of the prettiest 7-mile 10K. I mean, whatever it is, 10K runs
Yeah.
that you ever. It's along the coast and it winds, and it's a really great atmosphere. The locals, and you finish. It's just that's a nice run. That's an awesome run, and Make a Wish is a big part of that. That they do a lot right there.
excellent.
Sure,
I
it's
love
awesome.
it.
It is on the
Bethany,
bucket list.
If you run, you are a runner. So just you are welcome to the club. We welcome you with open arms.
Oh, thanks.
Running is just so much fun, and I hope you enjoy it, and that you can get the most out of it, whatever you want to get out of it.
Yeah,
She was amazing. She ran in the beginning with me, and then she crossed the finish line with me, which was a moment
Love
that I'll
it.
never forget. And,
it was amazing.
Yeah, it really was. And I got to tell this story when I met Bethany, and when I did the marathon on crutches virtually in Worcester State College, Worcester State University now. So you're training, you're running on crutches, right? So that's like I did. You joined me like the last couple miles, right,
Yeah.
Bethany? The last couple miles. But the funny thing is when I looked at all my time of the mileage, all my miles, my fastest times were finishing the crutch marathon with Bethany by my side, because she was so uplifting and encouraging. We talk about the power of positivity. Like she was amazing. Like she was just lifting me up and encouraging me, and just a breath of fresh air when you're tired and you're done, and you didn't. A lot of times you don't want to talk to people at the end
Right.
of things. Like I was just taking it all in. I was blown away with her energy and her enthusiasm and her support. It was just such a cool experience.
I
Well,
love
Bethany,
that.
that brings something up I wanted to ask you, actually. So you've
Of
known
course.
Bill for a while. You've done some other events with him, and you ran when he did another marathon. But
Yeah.
you and your mom flew down to Florida to see him. He has just run 6 marathons in 6 days. He's about to do his 7th marathon. What kind of shape and mood or attitude was Bill in when you saw him? Like, you've known this guy for a while. What was your first impression when you saw him in Miami?
He was focused and he was very locked in, and I could just tell how motivated he was to finish that marathon.
That $20 bill is right, is right there. Thank you.
That's
You
awesome.
know what happened? You don't really want to know what happened?
Yeah.
The Uber driver that was supposed to. Beth, you know the story, right?
Oh yeah.
She's telling a white lie. The Uber driver who didn't speak English decided to take us to Miami downtown. I'm like, dude, I gotta do a race. Like, you're going my way. I'm gonna be late. And so like I'm already late, and I'm like 2 miles away. So we're 5 miles out of the way, and now we're in traffic. And so he pulls up. He's like, get out. And he said in Spanish, he's like, get out, whatever he said. Oh, whatever. And I was like, no. You have to turn around and take us back. And then you know what he did? He had us stop the Uber on the app, and then reorder it. So I'm like, oh my God. And then I was like, and something about not speaking English came out, and then he started dropping F-bombs. And I was just like, Oh, no. You have to take a, so then he starts going real slow, and I was like, dude, come on, like, please. So then I take out cash and I just put it on his front seat, and I said, just go to where we're supposed to go. And so we're like 3/4 of a mile away, and he's like in traffic, conveniently. And so I just threw the money at him. I said, get out of the car. And I pull it up on my phone, my map. And I start, my race director's calling me. He's like, Bill, where are you? We're holding the race for you. And so like, they're all like, I don't think the athletes knew the story, but like I'm running with my son and my girlfriend, and we run to the start of the race. The gun goes off and we start. So for her to tell you I was confident and poised and I was drenched in sweat. I probably had the angriest face that you've ever seen, and it was that was my Uber driver story where I got taken advantage of in Miami Beach.
Oh no.
Yeah. He was very focused on hitting that goal, and it was just it was amazing though, because once I saw him I really saw how passionate he was, and it was really heartwarming.
I'm sure Bill wants you.
He had a big smile on his face though when he did end up seeing me. It was really amazing.
I'm so happy about that. But I'm sure Bill, once you actually got to the race to the correct Miami Beach, correct?
Yes.
Hit my mic. So at that point, now you can be like, all right, this is the last piece of the puzzle. I can finish this.
Yeah.
You have Bethany. She's a great support system. So you had your girlfriend and your son too. So you have family there. You have friends. You are just ready to go and ready to finish this thing. So what was going through your mind once you actually started running? Was this the easy part now?
Yeah, it really was. It was just it was amazing. It was it didn't feel hard. It didn't feel like I was sleep deprived. It didn't feel all the GI issues and everything went away. You know, all the ailments went away. Everything just went away, and it was just a beautiful day. And it was, you know, I had my mom there. I had my sisters, my niece and nephew, my brother-in-law. I had friends that were down there in Miami. So I had a lot of people, and like everybody had people, and it was so cool. Like, you know, you see the people that you were running with that had struggled, or they had some stuff going on, and they're doing well. And then, you know, one of the coolest moments is one of the gals. She's from the UK. She's a firefighter. She wore the gear. Did you got you back? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
We've been in touch.
I bet you have. You got to have her on. She's just such a sweetheart. And the whole Miami fire department got geared up with the masks on and everything, and they ran with her.
I got a little emotional seeing that.
Oh my God.
It was very cool to see. Yeah.
Amazing.
At one point, we saw she was joined by one other firefighter, but then all of a sudden, like a few laps later, there were like 25 of them, and they even had like the masks on their faces, like so full gear. Firefighter gear. And
yeah, it was so cool.
It was so touching. It was
an amazing moment. Yeah, amazing. It was amazing to see. Very
Bethany,
cool.
Outside of Bill, because he's going to keep sliding you those 20s, and outside of Bex and the firefighters, what were some of your favorite moments from Miami? And were you expecting it to be as big in the hype that it ended up being?
No, actually, I really didn't think it was like this big. I remember me and my mom, we were walking to the race together because, you know, Uber's confusing. So we ended up walking together, and we showed up, and it was just, there was people running there who were in different team shirts, and we're like, oh, are you on the way to the race? They're like, oh yeah, it's starting soon. And, you know, you just like, I felt the energy. And we first got there, and there was cameras, and there was people like laughing and smiling and sharing their stories, and had all these different colorful shirts. And me and my mom were just like, wow, this is phenomenal. And then we started going on Instagram and following all the different social media platforms, and like looking into all the different Instagrams and like the Great World Races Instagram. It was amazing because I like really did a huge deep dive. Like I remember going back to the hotel that night and doing a huge deep dive on everyone who ran the race and just the whole everything. It was really amazing and inspiring to look at.
We were right there with you, honestly. We were here and we were watching the Twitch stream, and we did the same thing, just following all the athletes, just learning their stories, and it really was an incredible thing.
Yeah, it really was.
That's awesome. That's amazing. what's awesome about Twitch is you can still go back and watch it all right now.
Yeah.
So you had a great day in Miami, a great finish of the race. Bill, what did you do after you crossed that finish line?
Jumped in the ocean.
Not a bad choice.
Attaboy.
Not a bad choice. Didn't you guys have like a big team dinner or party or something?
Yeah, that was that night. Yeah, that night.
Good.
Yeah, we did. It was great. It was great. It was awesome. It was one of the best days. Just incredible.
Because you guys built this connection. You built a family. One of the examples we used when we talked about this on the pod a few weeks ago was it felt like summer camp. You go to summer camp and you meet all these people and you build all these bonds and friendships, and you're going to stay that way forever, especially now social media, you're able to. But it felt like that, and I bet it was kind of sad when it was all over.
I was happy to be done. No, the friendships, honestly.
I was sad that it was over.
It's kind of funny. Like, I was getting texts from people like, hey, what am I going to do today? I'm at work and I'm bored and I don't have Twitch. I was like, you should be working. It was surreal. It really was. It was blurry in a lot of ways. It was eye-opening in a lot of ways. And, just like I told you my ailments and we're making light of it and everything. But like, really, that stuff happens to your body because your body's angry. And it's trying to cope and trying to figure it out. Like, you need to sleep, you need to rest. It was siding with Garmin and telling me that I was way overstressed. And so when we got done, like we're still on our group chat and there's all kinds of cool things going on there. But then there's some deeper relationships that have been formed. I'm texting people about, possibly doing another race soon or doing some things later or whatever. And so, as a matter of fact, Sean Schwarner, who ran, you remember Sean? He had one long longevity.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sean. We're doing Mount Kilimanjaro next month with Sean and my son and my son that was at the race, Cameron, and my oldest daughter are gonna do Mount Kilimanjaro with Sean leading the way with us.
I'm so jealous.
You can come.
I want to come.
Okay.
With that 3-year-old who kept running in here.
We're flying out of Boston.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we go back to Istanbul, my favorite place. Actually, it's a beautiful airport. But we go back to Istanbul. I'll go fishing with
those friendly fishermen.
With my friendly smoking fisherman friends, and we'll head over to Tanzania.
You just have such an adventurous spirit, and I'm going to live vicariously through you because you're not going to see me climbing Kilimanjaro. But I just think it's so amazing, all of the different adventures you go on. That's so fascinating.
Before we finish this, we got a couple final big questions for you. But at first, I want to turn it back to Bethany here and let her go because I know she just finished a driving lesson, and now I think you're at your dance studio. Between going back home, and it is a school night and it is late. But Bethany, a couple things. I think it's awesome that you do dance and cheerleading because my daughter does exactly that, dance and cheerleading. She just got home 2 hours ago from Florida, actually, and they're at nationals, and she's only 8, but they won the national championships for their division. So I think it's so cool that you and her are kind of the same, different age, but kind of the same and going through the same thing. I love that you're training for your first race. And not many of you know this, and Erica doesn't really know it, but I boss her around. I tell her what to do, and I'm going to tell her to sign up for the Falmouth Road Race and go there and meet you.
If I can get in, I 100%.
Yeah, and hopefully I can go too because it's in August. Like, summertime shouldn't be too hard. And that will be your first race, or is it your longest race coming up?
I've done some 5Ks. It definitely is like the longest race I've done, but I've done some 5Ks here and there before.
That'll be amazing, though. From what I've heard, I have not run it yet myself, but I hope it's an amazing time.
I'm very, very excited.
Excited for you, Bethany.
And Bethany, I know you're very young and you got a big, bright future, but do you have plans to keep working with Make-A-Wish, or what are some of your goals with Make-A-Wish today now that you were younger and you got to go to Disney World, but it seems like you're still very involved?
I am. I mean, the whole Make-A-Wish experience for me was very, very life-changing. So I really just want to be able to give back as best as I can, by fundraising, spreading awareness, sharing my story, and learning about other people's stories, and, thanking people like Bill for fundraising $100,000 for Make-A-Wish. Just absolutely amazing. And I'm so thankful. So thankful.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. It's so cool. I'm so happy that your whole team at Make-A-Wish, Massachusetts and Rhode Island connected with us after we connected with Bill, and we got to do this. This is super cool. You are officially the youngest person to ever be. Actually, that's a lie. My daughter. Damn.
Non-related person.
Non-relative. Erica, I want to give you a chance to ask Bethany your famous last question of the podcast.
Oh, I'm so excited. All right, Bethany, no pressure with this, but
Okay.
we have a Spotify playlist and we like to invite our guests to add a song to it. So is there anything you would like to add to our list?
Bethany,
Something
it's
that
one
gets you
song.
pumped up, or Eric says one.
I'd have
Something
to think.
energetic.
Hmm.
You can take a minute if you want.
I mean, I know. I listen to Pitbull, Fireball by Pitbull a lot when I'm
Yes.
reading.
It's a great
You know
song.
what? That just seems so Miami, and it totally fits in with the
Oh,
vibe.
yeah.
So
Perfect.
that's going on the list.
Yeah,
Love it.
definitely
That's a great
really
song.
good hype song. Definitely it's on my
Perfect
workout
choice.
playlist.
Love it.
Yes.
But Bethany, thank you so much for coming on the pod. Welcome to the Pod Fam. It's something we call, everyone on this poster behind me is our first 100 episodes, 105 actually. We call them our Pod Fam. You're both now part of the Pod Fam. Thank you for doing this. I
We're
hope
happy
we
to
get to
have
meet
you.
you. I really hope we can run in the Falmouth Road Race. If anyone has a connection to help Erica, or we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I'm looking into this.
Yeah.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for having
Thanks,
me.
Bethany. Good to see you.
Thank you
you,
for joining,
Bethany.
Bethany. Have a wonderful night. Happy New Year, happy holidays, and we'll see you again.
Thank you. Have an amazing night.
Bye.
Take care.
That
Sweetheart.
was awesome.
Yeah.
That was the first time we ever did something like that.
Very cool. Nice of you guys to do that too. It was really, really, really nice way to honor Bethany and Make-A-Wish. Really nice.
Oh, we're more than happy to help spread awareness, and I mean, if this can get some more donations, like how amazing would that be too?
Yeah.
Actually, mentioning donations, Erica.
Mhm.
Bill, you've raised $112,500 so far. Are you still fundraising right now for this actual Make-A-Wish motive here, or do you have future plans for Make-A-Wish?
Yeah, we're still fundraising for this. My company's definitely helping out continuously through some events that we're doing through the end of the year, which is so cool. That's really gonna make even more of a difference. But we certainly are using our fundraising page is active.
That's awesome. And they're involved in so much in New England, especially the Make-A-Wish Massachusetts and Rhode Island chapter. You guys probably have Boston Marathon teams, and you got a lot of people coming up for that soon, I'm sure. So, and outside of that too?
I think I'm going to do Boston Marathon for Make-A-Wish this year.
Excellent.
I've done Providence for Make-A-Wish. I've done the Falmouth Road Race for Make-A-Wish in the past, which is pretty cool. That's a way for you guys to get in, by the way.
There you go. There you go, Erica.
You have to reach out to our contacts.
Perfect.
See if you can get a bid. Yeah, so those are some of the things we've done. We've done some hikes. I think we did some hikes in the Berkshires for Make-A-Wish too.
Are they like adaptive hikes? Because I do a adaptive hike every year up to the summit of Mount Washington. We do adaptive hikes for adaptive sports, and we raise typically about $100,000 each year. There's a lot of us. I maybe raise $400, $500, $600, but we pull someone, an adaptive athlete as we call them, up to the summit of Mount Washington, and the money goes towards a great cause for adaptive sporting equipment, like you see someone skiing at the mountain with the wheelchair type of ski, or maybe a wheelchair type of bike or something. It's the money goes for that great cause. So
fantastic. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's been a while since we've done those mountain or hikes there.
Bill, you're awesome. We got a couple of big final questions that we always ask our guests. You kind of got a sneak peek what Erica's is, but I'm going to ask you mine now. We're building a list called the Code Brown Commandments. So a Code Brown is any oh crap moment. It could be running into a bear, could be running into an alligator. We just had that. It's dropping soon. My Code Brown commandment is thou shall use diaper rash cream to cure chafing. Do you have any running advice that would be a Code Brown commandment you could give to somebody?
Oh man. Wow. After what I experienced, having legit cold browns, like when you get race information, find out where all the bathrooms are, because you may have to sprint there, and that was on
where you might have to pay for one
on two of them, and get currency.
Yes.
Because
a
I
great
thought
one.
we're gonna have to fight a bunch of Europeans from jumping the turnstiles, but oh well.
Oh my gosh. Never would I have thought to like carry change on a on a run. Like, can you imagine just the jingling? I
I don't know.
know
There's
if
so
I
many
could
stray
handle that.
cats where we were. I don't know why
Oh, cats.
humans would have to use pay for the bathroom. But anyway, that's a whole nother story.
Oh my goodness. All right. So now that you've had a chance to get a peep at my question, would you like to add one song to our playlist?
All right. Well, you guys are New Englanders, and I thought in 2000, and I think it was in 2019 or 18, I saw the best band of all time on a farewell tour at Gillette. Well, that best band of all time is coming back to Gillette, and that's
Wait a second.
AC/DC.
Yeah, I saw that.
They're back.
Yes.
Little Hell's Bells action, but we're not gonna do Hell's Bells. We're not gonna put that on there. But we salute you. For those about to rock, we salute you.
Very
One of my favorite
nice.
songs. That has to that's a great run song. It's long too.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. There's an amazing AC/DC cover band called Dirty Deeds.
Yes. They
And
play over New England.
Yeah, I've seen them like 4 times because they come to NASCAR every year and play on Saturday night, and they're just a freaking amazing rock show.
Yeah, they're very good.
The guys, they dress up just like all the other guys, and the guitar player Angus, he's doing his thing just like they do, like to a T, a T. They're great.
Angus and Brian Johnson, the lead singer, they're still part of the band, which is cool. I mean, they're your icons right there. They're your staples.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. Gillette Stadium. When is that? I should try to go to
May
that.
4th. You better get tickets.
May 4th.
Get on it, dude.
Yeah, yeah. It would be cool. It'd be cool. I got a couple more bands I want to see. I think the greatest band in the world, New Hampshire born and bred, is Aerosmith. But AC/DC is a close. They're in my top 3.
Okay.
So
Aerosmith's good. Yeah.
All right, Bill, before we let you go, I just want to say congratulations again. That was such an amazing feat. You did all that fundraising. So much good came out of this, and you should be very proud of yourself. This is not something the normal human can just pull out. You put in the work. You knew what your why was. You kept it in your mind the whole time. Just the motivation that pulled you through. Just massive congratulations.
Yeah, agreed. The other day you made a post about like, what's next? Do I do the World Majors? Do I do another Ironman? What do I do? And I'm like, I don't know. You just did 777. Like everything else is, well, it's not easy, but it's not as hard or as difficult as probably that.
Yeah,
so congratulations.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, we'll do them all, but it's we'll do them sequentially, and it's just in this sport and a lot of sports and a lot of things we do, like people do their big things and then they don't have anything else to look forward to, and then what happens is you get complacent, you get down, you get depressed, you overeat, you start drinking, whatever. And so like I think we always need something on the edge, something down the road to look forward to keep us going. So yeah, that's what, Eric, that's why I have that list, because we always need something else afterwards. It's not going to be as extreme oftentimes, but it needs to be something on the edge for us.
I love it.
Oh,
next, keep doing the amazing
great start.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We'll try to bring Ben up there to live feed it. As I fall off the mountain.
You'll do it. Kilimanjaro. Man, that's another bucket list one. That's super cool. I remember when Big Z went and hiked it one year and they documented it, and I was like, I want to do that. So
all right.
Yeah, good luck with that, man.
We're gonna follow along on your journey because it's so amazing, and you're still doing great things, Bill.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome back whenever you want.
Sure thing.
This is awesome, man. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for connecting on Instagram while you're doing the race in this middle of the 777, while your Garmin was yelling at you. Thanks for the stories.
Sleeping.
Yeah, we enjoyed so much of this, dude. Great job raising all that money. We're following along. The live stream, I think, really brought all that to life. So kudos to them for doing it, because it's just, we got to meet so many cool people virtually, and I'm so happy we connected to do this and meet Bethany and everyone. This was fantastic. Thank you so much, dude.
Thanks for all you guys do, and thanks for bringing Bethany on and bringing some awareness to Make-A-Wish, Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Really appreciate you guys.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Bill Murphy on the On the Runs podcast.